Your best employees? Yeah, they are structurally failing right in front of you. Welcome, department leaders, to a special explainer report from the Human Error News Network. We're skipping the usual management fluff today to dive into a literal biological crisis that is happening on your floor right this second.
Think about your top performers for a second. The ones you always rely on. They aren't quiet quitting. No, their brains are executing a forced physiological shutdown. And honestly, the scariest part? The exact systems you use to reward their success are the very triggers pushing them over the edge.
Take a look at your dashboard right now. You're probably fighting this chaotic wave of symptoms, right? We're talking engagement scores falling off a cliff, weird spikes and mysterious sick days, and just unexpected resignations from your most loyal people. You're carrying the massive stress of managing a completely fatigued team. But right now, you're just treating the symptoms and totally missing the disease.
So to actually fix this, we need to ask a really tough structural question. Just how sound is your department's workflow today? Like, take a hard, critical look at the scheduling environment you've built. Is it engineered for human biology, or is it designed for machines?
Look, we're all caught in this massive cultural trap together. There's this classic hustle script we all know. Ship faster, sleep less, outwork everyone else. But that script is violently crashing into biological reality. When a workplace systematically rewards overwork and kind of stigmatizes rest, it strips away the exact recovery mechanisms we need just to survive. We're demanding infinite output from finite biological resources. And well, the human system is breaking under the strain.
Okay, let's dive into this, because here is the truly terrifying reality for any HR leader. By the time burnout actually becomes visible to you, like when they finally hand in that resignation or totally drop the ball on a major client, it has usually been silently building for months. It just masquerades as laziness or apathy or maybe just a bad week. Let's anchor this in some hard science for a second. The World Health Organization officially flags occupational burnout with 3 very distinct signs. First, profound energy depletion. Second, a severe mental detachment or deep cynicism toward the job. And third, plummeting professional efficacy. You see, this isn't just someone being a little stressed out. This is a chronic, unmanaged workplace phenomenon.
When I was digging into the joint data from the WHO and the International Labor Organization for this report, the physical cost I found was just absolute. Did you know working a 55-plus hour week raises a person's risk of a stroke by 35%? 35%. It also raises ischemic heart disease mortality by 17%. We are literally working our people to death.
But it's not just physical. Look at the immediate neurological cost. This is especially huge for your teams managing long-term shift work and non-traditional hours. When you combine that deep physical fatigue with the mental overload of, say, digital multitasking, studies show a 37% drop in brain activity for visual processing. Their brains literally don't have the juice to encode the hazards sitting right in front of them. So the crucial point is that this triggers a really dangerous phenomenon called change blindness. Because of the sleep disruption caused by erratic hours, a worker's situational awareness and executive control gets severely impaired. Your team isn't just tired. Their cognitive function is degrading so much that they are literally blind to critical changes in their environment.
All right, I want to pivot for a second and throw you a piece of data that completely flips the script. Check this out. In a massive UK 4-day workweek pilot, workers simply moved to shorter hours. The result? Burnout plummeted by an incredible 71%. Sick days practically vanished. And get this, the company's revenue actually stayed stable or even went up. Smarter hours just perform better.
And this is where we shift into solving this thing together. We have to completely reframe how we view these strategies. Flex time? That's not just a cute perk. It directly matches biological availability to your demand cycles. Hybrid models maintain your productivity without the collateral damage of a daily commute. Shorter hours actually perform better and prevent burnout before it even starts. We need to start seeing these as primary, preventative health strategies.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we actually implement it. You need a structural solution, like the Fatigue Risk Management System, or FRMS. Listen, this isn't just some one-off HR seminar where everyone gets a free lunch. It's a continuous, defensive loop explicitly designed to match your workers' biological limits to the actual demands on the floor.
So here's how that loop works in practice. It's kind of like a puzzle. Step 1, you start by measuring the reality of your current conditions, using incident reports, worker surveys, that kind of stuff.
Step 2, you model and analyze the actual fatigue risk that's hiding in those schedules. Step 3, you manage and mitigate that risk by adjusting workloads and mandating real recovery times. And finally, Step 4, you assess the feedback to make absolutely sure the system is actually protecting your team.
Which brings me to your next critical mandate. When are you going to initiate a primary prevention intervention in your team's schedule? Seriously, treating the downstream symptoms, the errors, the sick days, is a totally losing battle. You have to adjust those workloads right at the source.
To do that effectively, you need to know exactly what to look for when you're out there on the floor. So I'm handing you a practical roadmap right now so you can identify the hidden signs of cognitive decline long before they turn into a catastrophic error.
Okay, here is your baseline early warning checklist. If you're noticing your team constantly fidgeting, rubbing their eyes, or just complaining about feeling relentlessly tired, those alarm bells in your head should be ringing. These are the very first biological indicators that their resources are actively depleting.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because if you ignore those early signs, it rapidly escalates into the danger zone. We're talking excessive yawning, frequent blinking, staring blankly. At this point, their performance is compromised. And once you start seeing the really severe signs like nodding heads or uncontrollable microsleeps, you are looking at an imminent critical error. No question. That requires your immediate intervention.
But here's the catch. None of this structural change works if you are out there actively contradicting it. Having supportive managers who personally demonstrate safe behaviors is quite literally the single biggest factor in employee compliance and reducing burnout. Actually, scratch that, it's the only way it works. You can't preach the value of a balanced schedule to your team and then demand answers to an email at 2 a.m., right? You have to embody that psychological safety yourself. This has been a special explainer report from the Human Error News Network. I strongly urge you to go audit your team's schedule today, because I'm going to leave you with this thought to chew on. If burnout is really just the visible symptom of structural fatigue, what other catastrophic, unseen hazards is your workflow currently hiding?